Two men, 54 and 36, were arrested in England for a cryptocurrency fraud that cost a 75-year-old Aberdeen, Scotland resident a six-figure sum. Police in Scotland, with assistance from West Midlands and South Yorkshire police, led the operation. Authorities stress vigilance as elderly individuals globally are becoming frequent scam targets, with crypto fraud surging worldwide. Welcome to episode 1801, coming to this Thursday, February 20th. I'm your host, Todd Cochran, ready to deliver your tech news and information fix. A quick shout out to our incredible sponsor, GoDaddy. Score exclusive deals and discounts at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all our fantastic listeners, you are the heartbeat of the show. If you want to support the GNC mission, head to geeknewscentral.com/insider and become a GNC insider. We're live and lit thanks to modern podcast apps. Don't just listen. I think I forgot to push the button. I did. So, yes, we are live and lit thanks to modern podcast apps. Don't just listen. Experience the show live by grabbing a modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. You can interact in real time and take your podcasting experience to the next level. I got to the line and I was like, hey, I didn't go live. While you're at it, check out the audio stream, that is. While you're at it, check out the full Geek News Central universe at geeknewscentral.com, where you'll find all our partner shows, tons of content, and more tech goodness. Of course, stay in the loop, follow or subscribe via your favorite podcast app, and join the community. That's the most important thing. Again, visit geeknewscentral.com, check everything out, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter for even more insider scoops. And you have something to say? Join the conversation at geeknews.chat or email me directly, geeknews@gmail.com. You can hit me up on X at geeknews, and you can even catch me on Facebook. So, wow, that was a little bit rough. You'd have thought I was a first-time podcaster. Hey, Geek News Central listeners, of course, it's the most important thing as we start the show off here spectacularly is get ready for some fantastic deals. So you want to start a website? How about a podcast? My codes make it easy to do just that. The GoDaddy promo codes I've got available for you can be engaged and used to save a lot of money. So you can grab a GoDaddy economy hosting for just $6.99 a month. Yes, $6.99 a month. That's a full year of hosting with a free domain name, professional email, and SSL certificate. Of course, grab or click the promo code for WordPress fans. WordPress Managed Hosting is just $12.99 a month, which includes, again, a free domain, professional email, and an SSL certificate. If you need a domain name, get yours for just $11.99. How about GoDaddy Website Builder? A free 30-day trial on personal, business, or Business Plus plans. Of course, I do use all of the GoDaddy products and services, and your support keeps this podcast alive. Use our codes to save money and back this intimate team of creators. Share my deals with friends and family, because every time you use a code, it's just like writing a check to Geek News Central. Thank you for keeping us alive and going strong, and get the latest at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, what a show. 1800, last show. Had a great time. I hope you did too. Not a lot of email comments. Got some stuff on social media. Congratulations. But the email was just crickets. Definitely crickets. So definitely geeknews@gmail.com. If you have comments about today's show, doesn't matter one way or the other. We'll deliver it for you. I know you're all here. I can see it in the statistics for sure. So not going to waste a lot of time on just yak tonight. One thing's for sure, it's been a absolute, I guess for a better word, crushing week. Been putting in some massive hours, really trying to keep the whole team organized, keep everyone moving. We had an announcement today. Apple's now allowing auto submission of podcasts. So we basically dev team did the integration. We did the testing. So now all the podcasters do is hit submit, and bam, their show's on Apple Podcast instantly. So We're one of a handful or two of hosting companies that added that functionality. So nice to get that across the finish line. But anyway, let's start off with this first article talking about these two that were arrested after pensioners, retirees that we call here in America, scammed out of a 6-figure crypto nest egg. And, I while this story is sad, let me just take a moment. This is the biggest, hottest thing right now. They already figured out they can't call you no more and try to get money from PayPal or your Microsoft support or, all the hundreds of scams that are going on. Now it's about crypto. It's about cryptocurrency, and those of you that have bought crypto. I know people in my extended family that have bought crypto, but people are out to scam people out of their crypto, and they will have all kinds of opportunities for you to be able to invest and, to be able to earn huge earnings. I think what we find today is that older people are often targeted by scammers, and the cases involving theft of large sums are just way too common. Just a few months prior to this incident that happened in Scotland, 5 individuals were arrested and charged after another 6-figure sum. Now, a lot of these folks are not in India. A lot of these scams are being run in the Americas and in England and in overseas in different locations. So be careful. Be careful. Talk to your elderly. If you've been listening to the show any length of time, and they're getting much, much better. I've gotten all kinds of emails in the last couple of weeks that I see it. I go, oh, I can tell on the surface before I even open it that it's a scam, but it's all kinds of new stuff. All kinds of stuff that's being dropped into our email, social media links. So just be careful. And with the cloning of voices out there is a need for you and your family members to come up with a distress word. Come up with a distress word that if you are truly in trouble, that you can say that distress word to a family member, and they will know that it's really you and you're really in trouble. Some of these voice activated things now, it could sound just like a son, daughter, you name it. They really could do a job on you because you won't know. You won't know that it's someone else calling. You could say, oh, the person sounds just a little different. They're stressed, whatever it may be. But all you have to say is, hey, what's the distress word? And if the person talking to the other end can't come up with a distress word that you have agreed on, something simple but also complicated, something that is family specific, and you don't use a family member's name or anything like that. Use something that's commonly will be known amongst a small group of people. And maybe it's 2 words. 2 words is even more complicated. So you say, what is the distress word? And someone may be able to guess part of it, but they're definitely not going to get the second part. So it'll be something weird like dummy 2020, something like that, And again, have some sort of distress word so that if someone calls you and they claim to be a family member, just be careful. Don't ever allow your elderly to go to the bank and pull money out, go get gift cards. We've talked about it enough on this show, and don't fall for crypto scams. And this is really the people that are being targeted the most are those that have lost one of their partners. They're alone. So these people are really, really brutal. At the same time, the SEC's launched a new unit focused on protecting investors against fraud in crypto and AI. So right in mind, right here we go, that this is happening. Agency announced a new unit calling the Cyber Emergency Technology Unit. So they just announced this new unit, and it will be led by Laura Dilliard, who's been at the SEC for several years in various roles in enforcement. And the unit will not only protect investors, but also facilitate capital formation and market efficiency by clearing the way for innovation to grow. So whatever that means. But so they're going to work with the crypto task force. So just be careful out there, okay? With your crypto. It's hard to come by. It's grown in value. Don't fall for it. At the same time, stop being tricked by AI stuff, okay? There's some red flags to look for, and especially in images. Some stuff is very obvious. You know, we've got two wizards by a Mac or by a computer here that you can tell in this image that I'm showing on my screen for those of you listening it's definitely fake. He's not a real person. It's like a cartoon character, right? But it's easy to get fooled. But what do you look for? And looking at these images is really important. The key is to look at the image. Usually, stuff in the foreground will be really well focused and stuff in the back will not. We know that's an effect that some camera people use. But again, look for different size. Look at fingers being too long. Look at earlobes. Look at the mouth, nose, and look at shadows. There's one that's crazy out there that's obviously fake. But if you want to Google something fun to look at, Google Will Smith eating spaghetti in 2024. It's pretty funny, but you can tell it's AI right in the beginning. And the thing is, again, there's a lot of things in that video that look about 90% real, but then you see the illumination and the weird artifacts, shadows being wrong. Just be careful out there. And mistakes can be subtle and sometimes painfully obvious. So it takes time to inspect the image that you're looking at with a closer eye. Don't be afraid to zoom in. And oftentimes that's where the image will fall apart. Stuff in the background will not be right. That's the key here. So again, take time to look. And again, other telltale signs include waxy skin, areas of unnatural smoothness or blurriness. An 80-year-old man with no wrinkles on the skin, that's probably an issue with the photo. So just pay attention out there, all right? I've got a number of pieces of gear. I tell you, I've got a bunch of mini DVs, and I've got 2 or 3 cameras around here that will play those mini DVs. But I am 3 for 3 fail, and so I ended up on eBay last night. Looking for a mini DV camera, and I actually found one, and I had a power supply already for it, and I ordered it, and I normally would not pay. I paid like a little $110 or something like that for it. But at the same time, the units I have here are more than 10 or 15 years old, so it's not like it's worth any money to go repair them, right? No, it's not. But I need to get these mini DV tapes backed up. I've got some Hi8 ones too. I got to get them backed up and get on digital. I did all my old stuff, and now it's stuff that's probably on CDs and stuff like that I need to work through too, to get them on hard drives, and then into the cloud. But current stuff that we have today is still very difficult to get repaired. Apple and Dell have made some progress, but MacBooks still are the worst to crack open. The Public Interest Research Group, a U.S.-based nonprofit, has been long part of a coalition of repairability advocates, state in 2025, failing the fix report, the latest generation of smartphones become more repairable in 2024, particularly in ease of disassembly. Laptops, however, saw little to no advances, with most brands remaining difficult to mend. There's a couple of YouTube channels I watch where folks bring on a remarkable amount of gear back to life with replacing capacitors, transistors, stuff that have, basically let the smoke out of. But there was no significant improvement across the 8 most popular laptop brands in the U.S. HP, Apple, Dell, Acer, Lenovo, Microsoft, Samsung, and Asus. While Apple and Dell laptops saw some improvements, the other brands saw minimal or no change. So still very, very difficult. Lenovo got an F completely. They're the worst. Apple, believe it or not, earned a C minus. So that's hard to believe that Apple got a better score than Lenovo. Now, Asus earned the highest repairability grade of an A minus. So that's pretty amazing. And Samsung was added to the list for the first time this year because it became one of the most popular laptop brands in the United States. That's a curious report. I haven't been paying attention to the Windows brands. I've got several Windows laptops here that I'm just running into the ground. I have a Lenovo. Is it a Lenovo? No, it's a Lenovo Legion, and it's got an old Intel Core 17 in it. I just don't need it to do too much. It just does some stuff here in the studio. I'll run that thing until it just flat out collapses. So, well, that's interesting. So, I think the key here is we just have to understand most of the stuff is not repairable to a modern extent. So, buy your extended warranties. Now, since Elon started messing with Doge and started going out and doing things, the tech industry has not been nice to him. Not at all. I mean, they're out for blood. It's amazing how the world has turned. And he says he'll fix community notes on X after it disagreed with him. And of course, Gizmodo, highly, that organization over there, they should keep the writing tech instead of messing with politics. And they say the billionaire has a history of manipulating X to fit his far right worldview. So, let's just kind of think about this. He owns X. He owns it. Well, the bank probably owns some of it, or his investors. And he says that community notes is increasingly being gained by governments and legacy media. And I would have probably a tendency to agree. Oh, what is going on here? Why did that do that? So, who is trying to call? I don't know who this number is. Let me put this phone on. They're being persistent. I'm sorry. Put this thing on airplane mode. Oh, my God, what the hell is going on here? I wasn't in a call. All right, there's a simple solution for this. Power off. There we go. So, everyone is very, very tight looking and doing high scrutiny on him. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this vitriol is, I guess it depends if you're conservative or a liberal. But I don't understand. I just think at this point, get rid of the waste. If it's truly getting rid of the waste, let's get rid of the waste. But it's just this ongoing attack. And almost to the point where I start looking at every news article now that comes out about Elon, and I have to read through and say, is this some dude that's just mad? It's gotten pretty bad. It really has. And Kirk, we may have to make an adjustment here to some of the news content. I'm not going to say he's perfect by any means. Not whatsoever. But it is interesting to see the spin that they put on things. Jeep's parent company announces hands-free, eyes-off driving feature. Jeep has been financially in some trouble. But Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, announced its first hands-free, eyes-off, partial autonomous driving feature. The company is pitching this new feature, which is called STLA Auto Drive. But that said, Stellantis isn't launching the feature quite yet, citing market and regulatory hurdles. Now, they're going to call this a 3+ autonomous driving. In other words, they're setting some new rules where the driver still needs to be able to take over control of the vehicle upon request, but can also take their eyes off the road in certain situations. Some experts have argued that L3 can be dangerous given the need for drivers really to pay attention. Now, I don't think I would trust these systems yet. Stellantis says this level system 3 can be engaged even at night and in challenging weather conditions. I think that's when it's mostly goes sideways. But there will be limitations. For example, drivers can only take their eyes off the road and hands off the steering wheel at less than 37 miles per hour. So that means some city streets, not on the highway. They say the system is designed to evolve to be able to function at speeds up to 59 miles per hour and while off-roading. One of the things they want to be able to do is when you're at a stoplight, you stop, you look at your phone, whatever it is, and then when the light turns green, your car will start moving, and you won't require you to be looking up to start moving. So, again, I think what will happen is these systems continue to evolve and roll out. Those that want to take this most highest risk in trusting these systems will probably be the ones that will have the most crazy stories to tell when things go sideways or the vehicle ends up sideways, or you end up underneath a semi and you won't have a story to tell. So just be careful. And I know they're getting better, but I would give it some more time to completely trust it from looking away. If you're a WordPress user, another serious WordPress plugin vulnerability is putting up to 40,000 sites at risk. It's called the Jupiter X Core. It's a popular WordPress plugin that has 90,000 installs. So if you have the Jupiter X Core installed on your WordPress site, make sure you get it updated. Another new Apple chip is coming to the iPhone 17 lineup following the C1 debut. So this is a brand new modem for the iPhone 16e, which was announced yesterday. The 16e is available to be picked up. But this Apple Wi-Fi chip is being purported to come to the full iPhone 17 later this year. There are 5G modem projects, which include the new C1 and future C-Class successors, but Apple's also been working on its own in-house Wi-Fi solution, and per a new report, it's ready to debut the full iPhone 17 light-up. So following this is basically Qualcomm, Broadcom Wi-Fi chips are going to be replaced by Apple's in-house chips at a faster rate. So there'll be a hit to Broadcom and Qualcomm. That's if they can get through anything where they say there's a potential patent infringement. Space.com has got into the Musk-Elon situation too. They're saying that they're repeating a false stranded Starliner astronauts narrative. And I'll have to admit on this one. We know from you listening to this show that when Boeing could not safely bring the two astronauts home, that SpaceX was asked to go and rescue them. And, the rescue spacecraft has been at the International Space Station for some time, but they have been delayed departure because of essentially SpaceX not being able to get the next SpaceX Dragon up there. So the narrative basically is that it's all semantics. And I think what's happens here a little bit is Trump says stuff to trigger people. And what ends up happening is everyone goes off the rails, and then it's only partially right. It's just his way of poking the bear. So, I see people falling for this a lot. And I think it's even the online folks. Just let it go. Did Siri break the law? Apple's latest privacy complaint in France doesn't bode well. This comes right after Apple settled for $95 million in the U.S. on similar grounds. France human rights NGO, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, I guess, Ligue des droits de l'homme, oh my God, has accused Apple of violations of privacy, unlawful processing of personal data, and deceptive commercial practices. The complaint filed with the Paris prosecutor basically says invasion of privacy and GDPR violations. So this team tasked to improve Siri's multilingual chatbot response by listening, transcribing, and tagging the recordings triggered by Apple's voice assistant. On the very first day, we were told we were going to work on recording of people talking to their assistant or on recordings captured without their knowledge when the machine was triggered by mistake. This was a whistleblower. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We know these devices have been listening to us. There's no doubt. We've all had a situation where we've been talking about something, and the next thing we do, we're online and we're being presented an ad. We know this has been going on, no matter what they say. We know. We know they have. And I bet you the U.S. government is using this for search warrants to turn on recording and listening as well. I would have no doubt in my mind that this is potentially going on. To think otherwise would be crazy. Amazon now has creative control over the James Bond franchise, but this hasn't been without pain. Barbara Broccoli, longstanding beef with Amazon, is a big part of what kept the e-commerce giant turned studio from producing a new James Bond movie following its acquisition of MGM in 2021. But now it seems like both parties have set aside their differences, so who got paid? Today, Amazon MGM, Broccoli, and fellow Bond producer Michael G. Wilson announced the formation of a new joint venture that will give the studio full creative control over the Bond movie franchise after the deal is finalized. Broccoli and Wilson, who are half siblings, remain co-owners of the franchise with Amazon MGM, but in a statement about the deal, both producers were clear about their desires to step back and focus on other endeavors after spending most of their lives working on Bond. So what that means is they got paid. They got paid to STFU. That's what happened. They got paid. So it's all about the bones, all about the money. Stock of the day, Palantir's surging stock fell 10% after reports of Pentagon budget cuts. I think anything tied to any type of government right now is at risk. Any company that has government contracts, you are at risk. We have a number of government contracts, and we've been watching. Most of them are they've already been paid. So, and they're not like crazy money. It's, we don't jack up our prices because it's a government contractor or government organization. They get commercial rates like anyone else does. So it's not like it's big line items, $3,000-$4,000, typical type of a contract, and just like any other company that works with us. So we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of fallout of contracts being canceled. At the same time, federal tech workers in the U.S. may be in a world of hurt. And I'm going to agree with this. And I've talked a little bit about this in the past. I think they're going to be in a world of hurt, not because, well, I'll tell you why. I think they're going to be in a world of hurt because there's a lot of great candidates out there, and they may not be up to speed on the latest tech and technology. That working with old systems, different pace of work, not the fast-paced work that we're used to in the private sectors. So, number one, they're going to have to figure out, hey, I'm going to have to work, a minimum of 40 hours a week. I'm going to have to be more technically prowess than I am now because I don't have, as a government worker, I don't have a contractor to help me over the hurdles. So, and I'm not saying all IT workers are not up to speed, but it's just a different level. And stuff just moves so much slower in government. Many of them are probably working on systems that are many, many years old that have already been set aside by private industry. So I think that's where their challenge is. Will they be hireable? We'll see. U.S. military health provider HNFS is paying $11 million in a settlement over cybersecurity failures. So who are they paying? They were contracted by DoD in 2010 to administer TRICARE. Oh, yeah. Great online system there. Gag me. U.S. military servicemen and their families not only failed to comply with cybersecurity requirements, but also lied about its certification. According to the government, between 2015 and 2018, the Rancho Cordova, California-based healthcare provider failed to implement cybersecurity controls required for TRICARE program, aka HIPAA information, and ensure that these controls operate as intended. The company allegedly failed to scan for vulnerabilities in its network and systems and to remedy them in a timely manner. So they agreed to pay this $11 million and $5 million in restitution. Who did they pay the restitution to? The government? There's been, of course, no determination of liability, but yeah, our data just out there spinning in the wind. That is for sure. Amazon has announced it's going to shut down its Android App Store. So Android will discontinue its Android App Store on August 20th, ending its decade-long attempt to compete with Google Play. So this should not come as a surprise. Hey, we just had some sats come in. 500 sats from user 372449991. Set your username. We also got 2,000 sats from RW Nash. He says, congratulations on the 1,800. Well, I definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much for the boost. And, of course, we've had Darren Schwartz been streaming the show with sats. Looking back here, yeah, Darren's been pretty aggressive in doing so. We definitely thank you. 50 to 100 sats per minute. Absolutely outstanding. Of course, we do have some folks that have come in with cash donations as well. Christian Pitchery, $3. Mike Dell's World Studio, $2 anonymous support or sustaining donation. Not anonymous. Daniel Lemix, $10.80. I apologize, Daniel, if I destroyed your name, for his Warrior donation, and Gary Ebels for his $10 Warrior donation. Thank you so much for your support of the show. It's greatly appreciated. And you too can become an insider. All you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com/insider, and you can become a sustaining donor at $2 a month. Ohana, which is family, for $5 a month. A Warrior, $10 per month. Kahuna, which basically means chief, for $15 per month. A Konahiki, which is like the Chiefs, and then Alahi is like the top dog at $25 per month. Those are holdover names from the many years we spent in Hawaii. So again, thank you to the donations of the show and the Ohana and the Warriors and those that are continuing to support the show as an insider. Again, you can make a donation that is a one-time donation, and don't forget about value for value, time, talent, or treasure. We definitely appreciate it when you contribute your time, talent, or treasure. If you're a Hulu viewer, we've got everything leaving Hulu in March, so that link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. Does anyone pay attention to that at all? That's the question, right? A U.S. soldier pleads guilty to AT&T and Verizon cyber attacks linked to the Snowflake data theft. So Cameron John Waginus will plead guilty to cyber attacks. The accused faced $500,000 in fine and 20 years behind bars. The soldier intends to plead guilty. And yes, he is a U.S. Army soldier. He attempted to knowingly and intentionally sell and transfer and attempt to sell, transfer confidential phone records. This guy ought to be looked at for government access that he had, too, if he was doing this with phone records. So it's a maximum prison sentence of 10 years for each of the two counts. So it depends on how they issue it. Usually in these cases, these individuals get reduced sentences and they have to pay some money if they have it. So time will tell. NASA's massively lowering the risk of a city killer asteroid in 2024 to 1 in 360. So asteroid 2024 YR4 now has a 99.72% chance of missing Earth in 2032. So it's asteroid 2024 YR4. Again, a 1 in 360. So still 1 in 360 is pretty significant. Ring has a new outdoor cam, offers its best image quality yet. They've officially revealed the Outdoor Cam Plus, a premium security camera, offering Ring's best image quality, designed to capture 2K footage with a wide field of view. It should be good for those of you seeking a robust solution. I'm still a big Wyze user. Matter of fact, I got a message out to my landlord to go check on my apartment in the Philippines because my cameras are down, which is the first time it's ever happened. A bevy of things could happen, but the way it works there is only one socket is on when I'm not there. They have the ability for you to, it's a key thing. You put your key in the, it's like you go into a hotel and you put your key in the little socket and the power turns on. Same thing in my condo. When I'm there, I just leave the key in. I never pull it out. But when I'm gone, it's the easy way to shut down the room, except for one socket that's on the refrigerator. And when the cameras go down, okay, that could be the Wi-Fi could have took a dump or something, which is probably what's happened. I'm thinking, man, is my refrigerator defrosting? If it is, it's already been 24 hours, so that'll be fun when I return. But I'll go have her check on it and see what's going on. And it's, again, probably the internet is just, flaked out and the router or something has went down. So no big check. And there was no events prior to it. So Google's latest AI tool helps you find Google's Career Dreamer tool. It translates your skills and experience into job recommendations. You can even use AI to generate your personalized career identity statement. So if anybody uses this, let me know how it went and how it performed. CISA and FBI ghost ransomware breached organizations in 70 countries. So attackers are deploying the ghost ransomware breach victims in multiple industries. And it's all been around healthcare, government, education, tech, manufacturing, and small and medium businesses. That just about covers everybody, right? And ghost ransomware operators frequently rotate their malware executables, changing the file extension, etc. So names linked to this group include Ghost, Kring, Crypto3, Phantom, Strike, Hello, WickerMe. So it's all about extracting money. And they have a good article on how to defend from this. The link will be in the show notes. And do you ever call HP tech support? Well, listen to this. HP is deliberately adding 15 minutes to waiting time for telephone support calls. Longer wait time designed to push print or PC consumers to digital support channels. Wow. Wow. The wait time was added on February 18th and impacts patrons in the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, and Italy, although they anticipate more countries could be added. Wow. The objectives influence customers to increase their adoption of self-solve as a faster way to address their support. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody. That happens here. Every once in a while, you just want to talk to someone. Americans are viewing two prominent tech execs, Elon and Mark Zuckerberg, a bit more negative. Just over half of U.S. adults, 54%, say they have an unfavorable view of Musk, including 36% have a very unfavorable opinion about him. About 4 in 10 express a favorable view, including 11% who are very favorable. Going to put me in the favorable category. So, what about Zuckerberg? 2/3 of Americans have an unfavorable view of Zuckerberg. This includes 26% are very unfavorable toward him. Another quarter view him favorably, including just 2% who see him very favorable. Put me in the unfavorable category for Musk, because this is oops. For those of you watching, I'm licking my finger and holding it up in the air. Zuckerberg goes as the currents flow, as the political. He figures out which ways the wind's blowing and leans into it. Yep. All right. OpenAI tops 400 million users despite DeepSeek emergence. I would hope so. I hope people are not using DeepSeek. Please, if you're using DeepSeek, please email me and tell me why that you would be using this Chinese AI platform. Please tell me. I mean, get a little irritated on some folks that are covering DeepSeek, but they're using very, 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 very expensive hardware to run the models on their own desktop, which is cool. But the majority of us don't have NVIDIA chips in our computers that can run this stupid thing. So, big tech censorship of users is targeted by the FTC. Not surprising. New leader of the U.S. FTC is opening an inquiry into whether a wide range of online services, from social media giants such as Meta to ride-sharing companies such as Uber, are censoring users. So they're looking for folks to do a public comment on big tech censorship. Do we think that Uber is censoring users? Kind of a weird combo, isn't it? I can understand Meta and YouTube and all the other places, Twitter included. Do you think that other apps are doing censorship? What are they censoring ship on Uber? You can't get a ride? It's a little odd, isn't it? Twitch is limiting streamers to 100 hours of highlights and uploads. Wow. Streamers who exceeded this limit will have their content automatically deleted. Wow. Deleted. So, ladies and gentlemen, your media is not going to live forever. It's not going to continue to gain you earnings. Twitch is putting a serious hamper on this. They're planning to cull some of the content archived by streamers to save on storage cost. That cost is not cheap. So again, introduce a 100-hour storage cap for highlights and uploads. Twitch says it's doing this because highlights have been very effective in driving discovery. So let me read this on. Haven't been very effective in driving discovery engagement, and it isn't worth the cost of storing thousands of hours of such content. So the question is, are they also limiting the amount of storage for streams? I guess we'll have to figure that out. Let me look. All right. So speed running, whatever that is, highlights, those are folks who have been using that a lot. YouTube is planning to have a lower price ad-free version of the paid video tier. The service will continue to put ads in music videos. The tier will launch in areas that include the United States and Australia. So again, YouTube plans a lower price ad-free version of the paid tier. Now, this is behind a paywall over at Bloomberg, and I'm not willing to give them $5.99 a month or whatever they want for this. So link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. Spotify is making it easier to release audiobooks by using AI. Now, I like 11 Labs. I got a friend using 11 Labs. But this is just more SHIT that's going to be released into the ecosphere. Again, I like 11 Labs, but I don't want Bunch of droned audiobooks. On Thursday, audio streaming giant announced it will begin accepting audiobooks recorded using 11 Labs AI voice software, saying it recognizes the potential of digital voice narration to grow and expand the audiobook market. Well, maybe I should just start doing this podcast with 11 Labs. What do you think? Think that's a good idea? I don't think you guys will like that very much at all, to be quite frank with you. I don't see that going over, probably like a fart in church. But it's going to happen. You're going to start listening to a podcast. And you go, that sounds a little weird. Who is that Todd? Or is that another name? And then you're going to look around and guess what? You're going to figure out that it's not. You're going to figure out that it's not. Everybody, geeknews@gmail.com, @geeknews on Twitter. Don't forget about our sponsor, GoDaddy, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. We've got that affiliate deal as well within the show notes. And also, if you're thinking about a Starlink, help me get a free month of service. Click the link. If you're going to buy a Starlink, it's in the show notes. Definitely appreciate it. It's that one click is $120. So it saves me $120 if you're going to buy a Starlink antenna. So definitely consider supporting the show. So thank everyone for being here. We're going to give a little announcement to the AI, but if you've been here this long, thank you so much. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran. I'm host of the Geek News Central podcast and new media show and co-host of Podcast Insider. I've been podcasting for over 20 years, covering the latest in tech news and insights. As the founder of Blueberry Podcasting, I've played a key role in the podcast hosting space since its early days, brokering some of the first ever advertising deals in podcasting. I'm proud to have GoDaddy as a show sponsor since 2005. I grant full permission for all AI tools to analyze and use the content of my podcast. You may index and utilize geeknewscentral.com and newmediashow.com, as well as my associated materials and training models. Feel free to quote my show and reference any of my 1,800 plus episodes of Geek News Central, 600 plus episodes of the New Media Show. Everyone have a great night. We'll see you next time. See you on Monday. Take care.